welcome to another edition of Akau TV. I'm joined this morning by trainer Jamie Richards. How are you this morning, Jamie?
Yeah, good, Hazy. Yep, finished track work. A few nice gallops there this morning. Got some nice chances up there at Ruakaka on Wednesday and for Te Rapa next Saturday for the big meeting. So, all good, all happy.
Awesome. And I guess not a huge amount of action this week. And as you mentioned, things start to heat up next week as we head towards Legends Day at Te Rapa. Who put in some nice work this morning that's heading there?
On Trivia, always worked well. She looked as bold and as fresh and well as ever. Like the look of Dan Serena, who's in at Ruakaka on Wednesday. Marcus Aurelius worked well. He's going to the 1400 with On Trivia. Probably find that a little bit short again. But yeah, we'll have some nice chances there. The two fillies heading towards the Boss's race, Bellon Rouge and Self Obsession. They both work nicely together as well.
Fantastic, and I guess just on a quick yearling update. So all the Magic Millions horses are now sold, and the team's been out viewing yearlings this week. You've been to a couple of yearling inspections yourself. Do you see some nice talent out in the
Yeah,
paddock?
we had a big day yesterday. That's great news about all the yearlings being sold. Well done to everybody that's involved there on those Magic Millions beauties, because precocious types of horses that certainly looking forward to getting through the stable in the next month or so. I think they're going to be broken pretty shortly. And yeah, we had a bit of a day out there yesterday. We did Waikato Stud in the morning, and then we did Rich Hill and Mapley after lunch. Waikato Stud, obviously, with their Stallion Power and their Broodmare Band, have got some lovely horses again, as per usual for them. I thought Rich Hill had some nice horses too, and Sims had some nice horses up there on the top of the hill as well. So plenty of nice horses around.
Well, looking back at last week, so we kicked off at obviously Trentham on Saturday, and it was good to see I Wish I Win back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, great to have him back. Sort of had that race sort of picked out from there for a little while, and he's on his way to hopefully the Levin Classic. So, he was good. He was up on the speed, and sectionals were good. So he'll head towards probably the Mofasa 5th of March, and then into the Levin Classic 2 weeks later.
Awesome, and there's quite a number of horses heading towards the Levin Classic from the stable, I understand as well. And then of course on Sunday we saw Ellerslie, another return to form of a stable favourite in Brando.
Yeah, first start as a gelding, all important gear change, and he set up on the speed and put them away nicely. So he'll head towards Otaki for the Weight for Age. I think that's where the boss would like him to go. So he'll head down there when we've got Metameta Breeders' Stakes Day as well.
Great, and Campionessa also performed well, backing up her performance from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, lovely mare. Raced without a lot of luck early in her preparation. She's now up on top of her game, and she did a good job there at Ellerslie, because we backed her up after winning at Te Rapa 10 days beforehand, and then we sort of we've got in the back of our minds to head towards the Kaimai Stakes here at Matamata on the 26th, with her up to 2,000 metres in a handicap race. She should be down in the weight. Should be a perfect opportunity for her to try and pinch a bit of black type. But she's in great shape, really coming along well.
Great, and I guess the big news out of Te Rapa meeting on Wednesday was the horse in the Valor Colours Top Note performed extremely well to come over the top of them and won really well.
Yeah, she's a lovely filly. Always had a lot of time for her. She's a great type. We had her mother here. She won on Karaka Million Night before the format was sort of changed. I think it was only a rating race, but she was a mare that had plenty of ability. She didn't have the best of feet, so we never saw the best of her on the racetrack. But this daughter of hers, Top Note, is certainly a filly that we've got a lot of time for, and watch out for her. Not 100% sure where she's going to end up just yet. Probably just take her softly, another 65 type race, and then we might have a throw at the stumps at some better stuff if she can win impressively again.
Is that races like the Cambridge Breeders' Stakes later in the year?
Yeah, I guess it could be. There's plenty of options for her. We'll just sort of see how it all falls in together, and have a bit of a chat to Cossie and go from there.
Great, and good to see Rip Van Gogh get his first win for a good bunch of owners.
Yeah, he's been very frustrating, that horse. Not a very good eater, never carries any weight, and then he wants to pull and reef, and nobody can stop him. So it's been very frustrating. So glad that the owners were rewarded for their patience there with a good win. And he might be a horse that gets a bit of confidence from that and goes on with it from here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him at his next start in 65 grade.
Great, and I thought the Perfect Pink was huge in the Waikato Guineas running second.
Yeah, she was fantastic. Sectionals were terrific. Back in the field, it was always going to be a tricky race. It mapped like Field of Gold was going to get a soft lead. There was no pressure. We drew the outside, first run over ground. You just can't rush forward. You just got to take your time. And it's not grand final day, but she's right on track. She's going to run in the Avondale Guineas on the 19th, and then into the Derby a fortnight later. I think La Creek's also going to go to the Avondale Guineas, so it's going to be a really good field, and it's always the best form race for the Derby.
Absolutely. Who was the last filly to win the Derby? I remember Rising Romance didn't win, but then performed well in Australia, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Would it have been Silent Achiever?
That might have been one of those ones, yeah.
James McDonald.
Cool. So this weekend we're going to kick off. We've got one runner down in Wingatui, jump across to Taranaki, and then we're going to have a look at the races on Tauranga, of course, on which is the long weekend. So there's races throughout the weekend on each of the days. So down in Wingatui, race for the Positive Signs Dunedin Guineas, 3-year-old set weights over 1,500. We've got Irish Red, drawn barrier 1 with Rohan Madhu on board.
Yeah, she was great at Gore last time in the Guineas there. I was a little bit critical of how she was ridden sort of first up off the back of a break, but she improved a lot last run and hit the line as good as anything. She looked like she crying out for a step up and trip, which she obviously gets today, out to 1,500. She's got the nice draw. She's not going to spend a penny from there. Ruby's Lad will obviously be hard to beat, but she's in good shape. She's been staying with Terry Kennedy, who's been very happy with her. My only concern is the slow 9 track down there today, which is unfortunate for Wingitui's big day. But they might even get an upgrade during the day if they don't get any more rain. But yep, she's going really well. As I say, only concern is the track.
Great. And across the Taranaki at New Plymouth, race 3, the Tab Taranaki 2023. Over 1,200. We've got Highborn for Windsor Park, drawn barrier 2 with Joe Cameron claiming 2 kilos.
Yep. So she took a little while to win a maiden, but won well nicely last time, beating Rip Van Gogh, who's obviously come out and won since. So she was supposed to run in a 65 1,200 at Matamata here last Wednesday, which would have been a lot easier than this race, but just with a lack of suitable options, we thought we'd have a throw at the stumps. A lot of respect around the Taranaki trained horses there. Show Us More and London Point will be awfully hard to beat, but she's drawn well. She should get a soft run and got to be a decent each way chance.
Great. And I saw she was listed to race at Tauranga tomorrow, so she obviously goes down there. Race for the Platinum Homes 2-year-old classic, 3-year-old fillies set weights over 1,600. We've got last start impressive winner Maven Bell, which I understand is a homebred drawn barrier 3 with Opie Boston on board. And I guess the writing was on the wall from her debut performance beating Hanalei.
For sure. Obviously, Hanalei then came out and won the Wellesley. So, yeah, she's a really nice type of filly. She's got a good pedigree. She's closely related to Levante, so she's got a fair bit of upside about her. She's drawn awkwardly in 9. She does have a bit of natural gate speed. We'll be trying to roll forward a bit from out there. Obviously, Opie's committed to riding her light. Her work during the week has been spot on, and she'd have to be one of our better chances for the weekend.
Great. And race 6, the Lickland Courtney 1,800, rating 74 benchmark. We've got Perfect Scenario, drawn barrier part 5 with Niranjan Palmer on board.
Yep, Palmer's riding in great form. He got a double down there at Trentham last Saturday for Peter McCoy. So well done to Palmer for all the hard work he's putting in and starting to see some good results. Both of the boys are riding really well, Joe and Palmer. So they're a big asset to our operation, and can't thank them enough for everything that they do and behind the scenes as well. But yeah, Perfect Scenario is a horse that always runs well. He doesn't want out of turn. Just thought last time at the mile he was probably looking to go a little bit further. Just thought the 1,800 was a nice stepping stone for him. Used the allowance, get him down to 59, drawn well. Got to be an each way chance, but yeah, as I say, doesn't want out of turn.
Great. And race 7, the Fast Track Insurance Oaks Prelude for the fillies, set weights over 1800. We've got Outfit for Waikato stud born drawn barrier 12 with Opie Boston on board. I guess we probably would have thought she might have put in a better run at Ellerslie last start on New Year's Day.
Yeah, she just got back at Ellerslie and never got in the race at all. She just, the race was dominated by the stablemate that ended up winning. Self Obsession up on the speed. Perhaps she's a little bit better left-handed. So I think put the line through Ellerslie, take her on a Tarapa run. We've given her a little bit of time. We've freshened her up a little bit, just spaced out her races. Her work's been fantastic. So I'd be disappointed if she couldn't, turn her last start around and be right up in the first three sort of play here. Definitely think she's got the ability to get some black type, and this is a nice race for her. So, as I say, be disappointed if she wasn't, top 3 or 4.
Great. And across to Tauranga on Sunday, which is tomorrow. So race 1, we kick off in the Ultimate Mazda 1200. It's a maiden 3-year-old race. We've got Albatross, drawn barrier 6 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, she was great at the trials on the synthetic. She really travelled well there. One with a fair bit in hand. She's had a jump out here on the grass since. Just tucked her in behind a couple, and she went well. So she's right up to the mark. I think off the way that she trialled, she'd have to be a really good chance.
Great. And race 2, the Laser Electrical Mount Maunganui 1400, maiden 3-year-old race. We've got We Need a Shock, same colours as Self Obsession, drawn very wide in barrier 15 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, he drew 21 at Tarapa on Wednesday, so we scratched and waited, and then we'll give him 15 here. So we just thought we needed to get out and get going. His first up run had plenty of merit. Up to the 1400 should suit. Just going to need luck from the barrier. Nice horses in that field. Billy Bunter was good last start. So, look, he's going to need a bit of luck, but his work suggests he's a top 3 chance with luck and running.
Great. In race 3, the EMAC Electrical 1600. It's a rating 74 benchmark. We've got the Mighty Spa, drawn barrier 4 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, built to a good win last time at Otaki. His form had been solid. He got well back at Otaki and finished off the race well, given a lovely ride by Joe. So he's gone the right way since. Obviously, never easy for a horse getting up into that 74 sort of grade. His first run up there in a sort of a Saturday type race with good stakes. So he's going well. He's drawn well. Expect him to sort of be able to step up into this grade and take his place. It'll be interesting to sort of see where he ends up. It's a good field. That Vernaz is a good mare. Side by side was great at Ellerslie. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes up into that 74 grade.
Great. And then down to race 4, the STE Industrial Electrical 1600. It's a maiden race. We've got Prismatic, drawn barrier 8 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, just probably a bit stiff. He didn't win at Otaki last time. Joe just got held up right at the wrong time. So, yeah, he's gone the right way since, and I think he'd be one of our better ones there at Tauranga tomorrow. Should be hard to beat. And
then down to race 5, the Aotea Electric Bay of Plenty 2100. It's an open handicap. We've got the good-looking bugger. Akau Caliburn always has to carry the grandstand.
Yes, he does. As we all know, he's a great-looking horse, but he's been disappointing. So I have to take him a bit on trust there tomorrow, but out to a trip that he should be relishing. Really like to see him put his hand up and show that he wants to be a racehorse tomorrow.
Cool. And race 6, the Laser Electrical Tauranga 2100, rating 65 benchmark. 2 horses lining up. Well, actually, we've just mentioned Highborn's out, so just the one Devoted, drawn barrier 2 with Niran Jam Palmer on board.
Yeah, he's going well, this horse. He's been running well without a lot of luck. He just keeps drawing bad gates. Just having to go back. But we'll have to sort of do the same thing again. His work's been good. He's been working up with the Mighty Spa. Little rubber noseband goes on just to help him sort of settle a bit better and breathe a bit better. But with luck and running, he's got to be an each-way chance. Great.
So that wraps up the runners for the weekend. We bombed out last week with Chella. Do we have a best bet for today and tomorrow?
Yeah, sorry about that, team. That was awful. Chella last week, disappointed with him. So he's going to come home from the South Island and have a rest, and we'll get him ready for another prep. The best of the weekend is Maven Bell, closely followed by Prismatic. So hopefully those two can get home for punters. They're both going really well.
Awesome. And I think we've kind of quickly touched on the runners for next week. So there'll be a handful at Ruakaka. Anything at Awapuni, Jamie, on Friday?
Yeah, we'll take a couple there. There'll be Leaderboard will run in the Open 2000, who had a bit of an abscess before the Cup, which was really frustrating, but he seems to be back on the job. Fashion Shoot will run in a 65 mile. Aotearoa at Open 14 off the back of a bit of a freshen. So some nice chances down there.
And great. So, and then of course, Te Rapa on Saturday, Legends Day. We'll see on Trivier versus Levante again, one apiece. Hopefully, she can go one better again. And of course, we've got those two fillies lining up in the David and Karen Fenton Ellis fillies classic with Ballon Rouge and Self Obsession. So, lots to look forward to over the next week. And we'll leave you to it, Jamie, and catch you next week, mate. Thanks for catching up.
Thank you.